98.3. What's the story behind the Lucha mask? What's the story behind it? Can you give us some insight on why you wear the mask and why it's important that you keep the mask on everywhere you go? Kind of give them a little backstory on that.
Well, obviously, I grew up in Mexico, which is Ciudad Juarez, the border of El Paso, Texas.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually born in El Paso, but I was raised in the Mexican side, which is Ciudad Juarez. And as I was growing up, wrestling was it's always been very popular in Mexico. It's football, soccer,
right.
And then wrestling is the second biggest sport. So as I was growing up and watching wrestling, everybody wears a mask. It's part of our tradition. It's part of who we are, and it doesn't come from luchadors. The mask comes from the fighters, the warriors, los Aztecas.
Okay.
The Aztecs, back in the day when they would fight, when they would get into battle, they would wear certain type of mask to I guess that would put them in the mode of being warriors and getting into battle.
Right.
So at the same time, every time I put the mask on, every time before I step into that ring and go out there, I always put the mask on, and it's like that moment where I, pray a little bit first, and then something clicks when I put the mask on, and I'm in that warrior mode.
It's like a totally different person, man.
Yes, yeah.
Especially when you get in the ring, you're one of the best. I would say one of the best high flyers I've ever seen in the ring.
Thank you, man. I always try to be a complete wrestler and not just high flying and other things, but obviously that's what I think separates me from other people, the things that I can do in the ring.
Because they can't do it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of kids nowadays that do some, amazing things and things like that. But overall, I think me as a person and as a wrestler, I always try to focus on the things that people like about what I do. So if I do something that they like, I always tend to do it, so they can see it and more than usual. So for me, it's fun to be able to fly. A lot of people ask me this question: are you afraid of flying?
Right.
And I'm like, I think that's what everybody dreams as little kids, of flying. So So no, I'm not really afraid of that. Every time I step into a ring, obviously, we have the chance of getting hurt, more than other people. But I understand the risk of what I do, and I love what I do. So I don't really think about it. All about it is the crowd and the people that are there to watch us and perform, and happy to do that for them.
What's the biggest accomplishment thus far that Sin Cara has accomplished so far in his career?
I think the biggest for me, it's being able to reach the children, the kids, those people that maybe haven't seen wrestling, but they can see a mask, and then the kids usually like, oh, he's like a superhero and things like that. I think we focus so much sometimes like what we do in the ring, but I want this to transcend a little more than that. I was doing an interview earlier today, and we did a Be a Star in East LA, and it was one of those things that it really touched my heart, because I was able to reach to a lot of people, a lot of kids that have gone through a lot. As I grew up in the hood,
Right.
So
Me too.
So I can relate to a lot of them, how they feel and the things that they go through. So for me to be able to speak to them and be able to reach out to them, it's my biggest accomplishment, more than titles, more than things that can happen in our industry.
Any last words for the fan before we close out this interview?
Yes, I would love to invite them tonight to the WWE SmackDown. It'll be live. It'll come out Friday on Sci-Fi Network.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets are still available at $20, and you can get them at Ticketmaster.com. And today it's going to be John Cena, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton. All the big stars are going to be joining us today, so hopefully everybody can join us today.
Power 98.3.